Hey there, gardeners. I am Bobby with Country Garden Girl, and if you are watching me on Facebook, the name of my Facebook garden blog is Country Garden Girl with Bobby Taylor, and if you are watching me on YouTube, I'm just Country Garden Girl. Either way, I really appreciate you watching. I wanted to talk with you today about growing onions. Now, I am not an expert by any means on growing onions. And my husband and I don't eat a lot of onions, so I don't grow a lot of onions, but I thought you might like to, you might be having some questions if you're new to gardening or new to growing onions about how they are generally grown or how you buy them. I'm in my greenhouse. It is rather hot. It's a hot mess, actually, literally in here. And I've been transferring my seeds from under their grow lights into the greenhouse. So I'm always happy when my greenhouse when I get all done growing my seeds and transferring my seeds and putting them in here, because I usually fancy it up a little bit, and I have a fountain in here and a chair and some plants that I wouldn't normally grow inside and different things during the summer months. And I enjoy coming out here when it's not too terribly hot and just hanging around. But let's get back to talking about onions. Now, as I said, I don't grow a lot of onions, and we don't really store onions. We just eat them, usually right out of the ground. But you may have seen something like this in your local hardware store, and you're wondering, what do I do with that? Do I just plant the entire thing, or what do I do? No, you don't. What you want to do is when you bring them home, you want to take this out of its container and separate. This has 7 onions in it. So when you're shopping for onions and you're buying them this way, you want to make sure you buy the one with the most onions in it, and that way you'll get the most bang for your buck. This is a red onion, and sweet red onion. And so I will just take this out, I will separate these, and then I will plant each onion about an inch deep and about 4 to 5 inches in between each onion. That way it'll give room for your onion bulb to form and to grow, a pretty nice sized onion. So that's what you would do with something like this. I also have Walla Walla, and I'm going to bend down here and pick them up. Walla Walla, and it is known as a long day onion. Now there's only about 5 or 6 in this pack, but that's good. Walla Walla is a long day onion, meaning I will start harvesting these around late July, August and onward, something like that. Sometimes I harvest my onions when they are a little bit smaller. Sometimes I let them form into the full onion size, the full bulb. Just depends on what our needs are at the time. But you can just start harvesting them whenever you choose, as far as what you want. Now, to really know when your onions are ready, the tops, once they grow pretty tall, you'll see the tops will just start flopping over. That way, if you leave them in the ground and don't harvest them along during the late summer, that way you'll know, if that makes sense. What I'm saying is I usually harvest sometimes, just throughout a little earlier than they're fully mature, just because we like to use them that way. But if you want to let them fully mature, then you would just, when the tops have flopped over, then your onion is ready. And that's usually what you would do when you want to store your onions. Then, of course, you have to go through the process of drying them out and things like that, which is, a whole nother process. But I also grow onions from onion sets, and this is what is known as an onion set. And you would plant this onion set just to where the tip is just sitting right above the soil. You don't want to plant this all the way under the soil, just where the tip is right above the soil. So this is an onion set. I will plant some of these, and I will plant some from the ones that you saw in the containers. You can start your onions from seed, which I would have normally done had I remembered to do that, like late January, mid-February, something like that. I should have started my onions from seed. And what I would have done was take a container like this or a 4-inch square container. You could use regular potting soil for this, and then I would have sown a lot heavier, a lot more seeds than what they have in these individual packs. I would have sown you know, a lot heavier, and you can do that. Then when it comes time to plant them out, you just separate each one. So that's a really good way to grow your onions as well. Let's see, I side dress my onions when they get about 6-7 inches tall. When the green part gets about 6 or 7 inches tall, I side dress them with Garden Tone by Espoma. I do not work for Espoma. Espoma does not sponsor my videos, but I really like using the Espoma products. Now, I will say that the Espoma products have quite the smell. It gets on your arms and in your nostrils and things like that, but I don't mind, you know, it just washes right off. But I use the Garden Tone, and by side dressing, I mean I just go about 4 inches, 3 to 4 inches from each row, and I just side dress your onions on both sides, because onions are pretty heavy feeders. So I do that usually just once, maybe twice during their growing season. What else? I think that's all I wanted to say. Again, like I said, full disclosure, I am not an expert on growing onions, but I have had some success with them. So I hope you've learned something, and I really appreciate you watching. If you are watching via YouTube, if you would like and subscribe to my channel, I would really appreciate that. And you know, I'm trying to grow my subscriptions on YouTube a little bit, just so I am a verified YouTube channel, but I don't have a YouTube address, which I know that doesn't make a lot of sense to you probably. If you don't know too much about YouTube, doesn't make any sense to me either, but that's the nature of YouTube. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. Happy gardening, and have a great day.